Today we're gonna make Pat Fusty the slap fighting king, as part of this insane super roughing showcase in the DLC, Rogue Legends. Is Pat Fusty good enough to solo all 4 stages of this campaign? Well, here's how we're going to help that. His base skin gives heightened perception common, which is huge. 40% extra range, but reduced projectile speed. But of course, Pat Fusty doesn't have projectiles, so that doesn't matter. Pat Fusty is also counted as a primary monkey because of the 1 monkey army artifact counting as every category, paired with Battlefield Commission to give him some quick level ups. You know the drill, and so do I, although if this is your first time seeing these kind of super buffing showcases, then I highly recommend you check more of them at the end. They are pretty fun if I say so myself. Phase is the starting boss, which is actually very concerning, because with Pat's limited range, especially on stage 1, Phase's jumps forward, where he moves cross-track, will be annoying, especially if we get an unlucky map. Thankfully, the starting campfire, they were no good monkeys, so we can upgrade heightened perception to 55% more range. What I love about these 1 monkey army type of runs is that not every hero prefers the same build, because obviously range is so much more important on a hero like Pat Fusty than, say, Quincy, for example. And here you can see, just starting off in the very first tile, unlucky spring map, but one thing I don't think that can be buffed is Pat's slam radius. So even though he has a large amount of range, the area of which he damages balloons is actually still going to be really, really tiny. And that's why those 450 lives starting off are going to be really, really crucial. And probably attack speed will help with that too. Range, attack speed, remember those. Slipped on the Peel is the best artifact here, which speaks volumes because there's no stat bonuses there. Thankfully, we pick up 2 stat bonuses at the merchant. Funnily enough, Pat Fusty's own icon gives him 20% attack speed and then magic quickening for 8%. However, we have to set Pat Fusty in close, remember that. Chest number 2 gives me exactly what I wanted with 10% range and 20% pierce to boot. I can't believe I'm here celebrating inspiration buffs. Now, this is an interesting choice. I can take Zig Zag Zag for 12% overall attack speed, however, I end up picking the Alchemist buff in the end because the 400 Alch gives not just attack speed, but damage, pierce, and range. So I thought overall it's more important. We have a mini phase boss over here where the common goal is 9, and there's a good glimpse to see just how good Pat is right now, and honestly, that boss damage is nothing to scoff at. Literally each slap is like 20 damage each. Quite impressive given Pat's base damage is like 2 normally at this level. Only 4 kills on the first loop round, although that wasn't really a loop. This is the real loop, and we should easily get 9 from here. Although granted, with more HP, that actually didn't happen. We only ended up getting 7, but thankfully, if range does end up being a big issue, we can always sell and rebuy, or buy and resell Pat later on. It is obviously not good, because he loses all the XP he gained from Battlefield Commission, but it's better than doing 0 damage at all. And just like that, there's 9 kills. No point going for higher, because the thing rear is like 20-something. So we just let it leak, run away with the common artifact, of which this was my worst pick so far. Literally nothing helps. So at the very next merchant, I dump it. Dump it for another casual 8% attack speed. There was also another artifact that I kind of wanted to pick, Confuddling Spelling. Extra damage to stun balloons is really good, because Pat stuns balloons himself. However, you can't stun a boss, so I decided against it, because ultimately we need boss damage. The map is Sulphur Springs, which is a huge sigh of relief, because if it was any more of a difficult map, we very well might have hit a dead end with Pat only having this much range. And, oh right, also, here are all of our stat bonuses so far. Usually stat bonuses are additive, and I would assume that also affects range too. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but it seems we certainly need more than 7% extra range on such a small range hero like this. Here's probably the best place to start. Drop all our levels in, and remember, close starting for more damage. Although, because of his small radius, if close means we sacrifice damage, like the slam radius doesn't hit phase, then we should always put it back on first or strong or whatever. But here we go. Can Pat slap phase to death? Ability to speed up things even further. It is only +1 damage, but it feels like it does more. It makes more of a difference. Remember with 1 monkey army, heroes get a 4x multiplier, and I would assume, given that I can see a difference, that this ability, like, calculates +1 before the multiplicative effect, which is pretty nice. We got an all Tower Quickening, which I don't want to pick, but it is a legendary. So I'll just take that. If I have to restart or pick something better, then I will. And yep, right over here. Close will not hit phase. In fact, Strong doesn't even hit phase. Surprisingly, despite all that radius, that isn't touching. Okay, now it is touching. I guess since I do have the money, let's drop a 202 Elk, because I noticed that the AMD buff isn't permanent. So far, so good though. This part's gonna be brutal. I don't think that reaches. Let me see if I can skip that for 10% range. Yeah, this is so weird. I can't believe I'm picking range. Alright, this time has to be in Strong, because Close would target the Moab, which I obviously don't want. Let's get level 11 now too. By that, and oh crap, we're leaking. And see, therein lies the issue. I think it's because his slap radius is like not even on the track. So it's completely whiffing those green balloons, which is crazy. Brutal. I have to waste shots on first, just so I don't die here. Oh, I'm dead to those cerams. Yeah, this feels so bad. So many wasted shots hitting Moabs, but them's the rules. Unless I want to literally die. Well, now we don't have to worry about putting on Strong because it seems like Pat is completely out of range. So I guess we'll use this time while it phases away just to power level Pat. See how many of these juicy levels we can pick up. Okay, now at level 16, it's in range again. Back on close targeting. And let me hold onto my money because once we hit the next skull, it's not going to matter anyway. We have to sell Pat completely, so why waste money? At least I think. And I'm getting ready, if phase pulls too far forward, to sell Pat Fusty. Before that, I don't think I need range, because if I put Pat in the bottom left island, yeah, that's not going to matter. So let's see. How far forward? Do we have to sell Pat? Or if he's still attacking... Oh, no. It's Rams. Crap. Level 6? Level 7? Nope. Okay, check this out. Sell. Pick a quickening boost. Sell immediately. No, don't even waste time. And then level 7 again. And notice I pre-bought the Alk buff down here. Okay, level 8. Come on. Please knock back these F-mobs here. Now, it is a bit concerning that resetting back at level 8, I'm not sure if we have enough damage to kill phase the last little bit here. But let's hope so, and that Pat Fusty's strong enough to be able to handle BFBs coming in and all that. Because I don't know. Come on. Oh my god. Knock back more, please. I don't feel so good about this. Okay, there we go, level 10. Come on, faster. Give me more balloons to suck up. Please. I'll try to squeeze in shots on Strong while I can, but I gotta be very careful. Very careful. I think I'll use a big suck here. It's actually more efficient than waiting to slap a billion times, you know what I mean? Okay, now that we've got an opportunity, close targeting. As long as I can. And I think this does it. Oh man, that looked really close with all those camos, but I think we're good. Again, use a big suck for the FBFB. And what a tier 1, or stage 1. Normally, a lot of bosses are either really easy or impossible. But this one had the right difficulty. Obviously, that's not ideal though, with these kind of showcases. I need to be sure that these final bosses are easy, because if they're hard, then either I did something wrong, or I get a really unlucky map, because that was a pretty easy map. On stage 2, we have Blastopolis, which is not too bad except for the fact that Blast decreases range and Rocks destroy line of sight, which is basically everything that Blast does. Anyway, again, nothing good here, so we'll just enhance. I will just take a classic 8 to 11. Chest 1 is a really lucky one. Ability stacking legendary means we can now gain up to 4 charges on Pat's level 3. Which is good because now we can hold on to that ability for the most important parts, which is essentially a DPS increase. This minigame over here is a race, which is awesome. Pat excels in Pierce, so I don't think getting 151 should be an issue. What I am concerned about, though, is Pierce capping, so I'm still gonna play very careful. If we don't get Legendary, that's also okay, but I feel like we definitely should. I should be able to send out the first 4 rounds at a time, and don't forget, Alchemist does damage over time too, albeit very, very, very slow. I think I'll also drop, if I can afford it, a Nana Farm. Remember, I still have the artifact that slows down balloons when they're in radius. 15%, I believe, 15. So put it over here, and we have a mini Arctic Wind. God, I love Rogue for these really weird, things. Seems like sending up to 10 rounds was very conservative because, look, I can send all of them, I think. Let's just do it. I think I should definitely try my hardest to find as many minigames as possible, because Pat is going to clear Legendary on every single one of them if it's a race. Down with mini-bosses, up with races. 151 is it, right? Wow, this is actually going to be really close, because we have to wait for all the balloons to come out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 10 seconds left. I repeat, 10 seconds left. Oh god, do I use Big Suck? This is dangerous. Oh my god. No way, no way, no way. No way. You've got to be kidding me. I almost choked that. 0.2 seconds? I don't think I can ever script it to be as close as that ever. That got spook, and we're gonna get away with a 30% damage buff. Hell yeah. 2 more chests in a row, 11% attack speed, very awesome. And then garbage. Sadly, only 1 useful artifact out of 8 in the end stage merchant, but it is a ranged one, so that could be useful. And with that, that brings us to the following stats heading into stage 2. What do you think? Do you think these stats are good enough to take on 4 circles blast? Yeah, I think definitely. We've gotten a bit lucky with the map so far, but we can't keep relying on that. That being said, this should be a piece of cake. Blastopopolis is probably one of the easiest bosses because it doesn't really spawn anything. He's really just more annoying than anything else, like prevents your ability cooldowns, whatnot and all that. But it's slow moving, and yeah. What's great about Pat Fusty is that he doesn't really do projectiles, so we basically have almost 0 heat bar on Blastopopolis. Only after each skull does that become a problem. Sure, let's pick a range. Now my biggest concern is that if a rock blocks out his range entirely, if we get unlucky, there's always a chance that rocks will spawn literally on top of Pat Fusty, and he can't attack. This applies to every single tower. Back to close starting. And again, let's use all of our 4 stacks while we have it. Unfortunately, Pat can't reach anymore, so let's use this time to level up like crazy. Now, boy, that's quite a lot of range for just natural leveling. We'll take it, though. But just like most other heroes, getting to level 20 seems to be the key. You get damage in so much faster. It's not even funny. Level 19, level 20 is useless, so we essentially max out Pat Fusty's leveling at 19, just know that. We don't need range anymore, so let's finish it. We can definitely finish it before Blastopopolis gets out of range here. Another one, in which we'll do 15% damage. Another one, where we will get 15% more damage. And then the final skull, where we get 20% more damage. I should have taken the monkey boost if it was the last skull, but it doesn't matter. As I said, GG easy. But we can't keep getting away with these easy maps, that's for sure. The world has its way of evening things out by the end. But we'll gladly take, or give Pat Fusty the ability to burn balloons now. Extract Splody Darts. And these are our stats looking halfway through this run. Stage 3's final boss is Bloonarius. No problem with that either. Starting Campfire is going to be another basic boost, 8 to 11%. Chest numero uno is absolutely crazy. How are we so lucky with an 80% attack speed buff? Now, I'm going to count this as 1.71 because I always do Pat Fusty with elf buff, so basically just think of it as if we had 2 towers on screen. We're also going to go down because this way has a minigame, like I said, which I always want for Legendary. Oh my god, what more insane luck. 16% damage. And then a legendary counter gives us this. Inspiration legendary for 80% range. Now, I already have the rare of this one, so if I do the math, then I think technically 18% raw range is better than going from 155 to 175%. I feel good with our range, so we'll just do a damage increase at the rest tile. We're now in line for a mini-boss, mini-game, mini-boss, back-to-back-to-back, so we'll buckle in. With our triple damage to Camo's artifacts, Pat can slap down FaZe in no time here. With this map being hard, however, I'm not sure we can hit a super high goal. It's 15, 30, 40 for common, rare, and legendary. It seems like we're definitely going to hit common. Remember, once FaZe is out of range here, I'm going to sell Pat and then move him over here, and hopefully I don't die in the process. But we'll squeeze out as much as we can during the time here, and actually on Bazaar, we don't have to worry about the bottom lane because FaZe portals Bloons over, which, thanks, I guess. Big thanks. We'll sell Pat, Fusty, come on, don't die here. Sell him now. Spam levels. Lock in. Anyway, back on close starting, and let the slap damage commence once more. Yup. With this speed, I think 30 is definitely guaranteed. I don't think 40, though. 40 is a little bit... seems out of reach. But I'll gladly take a rare, especially since this is not supposed to be Pat Fusty's main strength. Taking out 13k HP bosses within seconds. Needs to say, I am very, very impressed with Pat Fusty so far. Easiest choice of my life here. Who doesn't want 18% more attack speed? Sadly, this minigame is not a race. It is release cash and workshop to boot. It should not matter though. With Pat's stat bonuses, nothing should get by him, especially since we get a boost every round too, which I'm not going to use, I don't think, because, well, Pat's strong enough. Literally no reason to be concerned. We can just put it back on 10x fast forward and sleepwalk our way to a legendary even on this expert map. But again, I'm not worried about this expert map. I'm worried about maps like Bloody Puddles. Muddy Puddles, where you would need an insane amount of range to be able to have Pat reach all of them. And that's why we should still try to find range if we can. Nothing here though, so we'll just take 18% attack speed and cooldown. Technically, I already had the rare of that, so it was a much smaller boost. Another legendary encounter somehow gives us the choice of 2 instas, which I do not want, so I'm left with nothing but to pick something kind of useless. And then another Blast Papa's mini-boss, but this time it's Bloody Puddles, so... yeah, I don't know about getting any goal here, folks. At best, Pat can only barely clip the third lane. I think we just gotta have to speed our way, or get as much damage as we can, before Bloons start spawning on lane 4. Even though it showed Bloons spawn that way, it seems like they still start over here. But okay, here we go, off to the races. Can he even clip... oh my god, he can't even clip the third lane. Well, thankfully... we can get more range, and wow, it's still... no, he's trying to. You can see him targeting that way, but for some reason his slap distance doesn't reach. Okay, let's ignore that. Just get 15 before we go down to 0 lives, okay? And I'll be happy. Well, hopefully we burned the muddy puddles of the stage, and we're not going to encounter any more of them. Come on. Oh no, we're going to get it 14. End me. This does move him forward, but it resets my lives too that much, so I think we're fine. Nice. Alright, we'll let Blast Papas just finish me off. Just end me here. It would have been nice, actually, to maybe find a, recruit a monkey that, even though it doesn't do damage, either has a lot of good DOT damage or utility, like freezing or whatnot, to buy his time. So speaking of that, I guess adding a Mermonkey is a freezing tower, so... I'll just take that since every other legendary is completely worthless here, sadly. Actually, wait a minute. Why did I get 3 legendaries? I got the common. Might it have been a sparkling and I didn't realize it? I don't know, but we'll ignore that. Huge clutch at the end stage merchant. Not the 8% attack speed ability cooldown, but get to the chopper is perfect because it gives me a Chinook so that I can move Pat around without actually having to sell him and resetting his XP. So I actually think with the downdraft ability, we can probably survive final boss maps like bloody puddles now, I swear. Although I guess if a mob spawns out, it's a bit of an issue, but I'm prepared to figure out how to deal with that. Please no bloody puddles, thank you. Spring is doable. And holy crap, is this Chinook gonna be ever so useful, because I would probably leak a crap ton of balloons with Pat Fusty all the way up here. Let's just play and I'll show you. But I think with this, we can leave it on close, and then whatever balloons get through, just use... Yeah, look. I forgot about the pinks that the balloon area spawns out, but we can just downdraft them to oblivion now. Even though it doesn't do damage, I doubt we'll get overwhelmed to them. Actually, if we do, maybe I'll just put Pat on first. But I think the burn damage, yeah, okay. As long as Pat burns a pink, we're good. If we didn't pick the Chinook, I'd be cooked. I would have to put Pat Fusty all the way at the very back. Which isn't a death sentence, but it would be way more annoying to play out. Let's get that first skull. Let's get magic precision. And we gotta put Pat Fusty back in first here. I think it's also important that we don't do too much damage, because if we do too much damage, then Ballooners will spawn too many pinks, and then we get overwhelmed. This is a good happy medium. Pat at level 12. Second skull again. We'll do attack speed. Next skull now. It doesn't seem like we're going to be able to kill him before it gets out of range. I'm still going to buy range because it matters. Basically what I'm saying is that I can't really Chinook Pat over... Ignore this range, it's completely inaccurate, but we can't do it here. Otherwise you won't be able to see down there. I still need defense for that side is what I'm saying. And also, Pat, he's doing the same thing again. He can't hit Lunaria, so what I'm going to do... Move him up here so it actually damages. Or was that dumb? No, that's dumb, that's dumb. Put him back, put him back, put him back. Sorry, I just did a lot of trolling there. I thought I could get away with it, but I couldn't. Like, it's so weird that Pat doesn't do damage, even though there's so much radius where it looks like he can attack Lunaria. So, like, now it's finally working. Good. I'm not putting him in close just because it's far too annoying right now to do that. I think we'll just get attack speed to finish it off. We can do it. I just gotta keep blowing those rainbows back. And if that doesn't work out, just buy a second Chinook with all that I've got saved up. And I think this does it, y'all. Another quite interesting final stage boss that wasn't trivial. Definitely made me think, and thank God for that Chinook, because I'm not sure what I would have done had I not end up picking that up. Sheesh. And I think I have to try to dump this whenever I can, because Pat Fusty will count as a tier 4 or above, so he'll attack slower with his essence. Kind of sad that we have an artifact that nerfs us, but that's how it goes. And the final boss, what is it? Ooh, Vortex. We definitely need to pick up more range whenever possible. We got a crazy legendary campfire, but I'm not sure which one I want to turn into a legendary. What is the best buff here? Listen, I know this is not range, but I think I can't pass up 18 to 43. I think this is the strongest difference. Chest 1, perfect. Got 10% range we're looking for. Mid-stage merchant, raw 15% damage. You also can't make this shit up. I think Infernal is another impossible map, because take a look at this. End round 29, check out round 30. He can't slap. How can't he slap? We needed to get a Chinook, but I don't think I could have afforded it. Yeah, I couldn't. So this is actually a encounter I have to skip, believe it or not. Didn't think that would be a problem of all maps. And maybe I'm missing the fact that maybe more range is bad because there's a max, I don't know, distance he can hit? I'm not sure. But oh my god, support specialist is correct. I'm taking that. And then, 10% hero attack speed. Let's get it. More range can't hurt the try, so let's do that at the final rest tile. Final stage merchant, there's only one stat bonus left, and I'm actually going to pick cornered beast here. Just in the case I need the utility in the bottom path beast to move balloons across different tracks. I want to be prepared for every single situation here. But let's hope it's just a single lane map, please, please, please. Please. Thank you. That's not single lane, but it's good enough. Will Pat Fusty be able to finish it off? Well, it all ends here. Let's, again, do the following. Chinook, Pat, and I think that's all I'm going to spend on for the time being. The other two, or the Beast Handler, doesn't seem like it will be needed here. And let's pray that Pat Fusty does not get stunned here. His range, yep, it's just so weird. He can hit it, or he can target it, but it does not do any damage because it's too far away. This is bad. I think this means he's absolutely going to get stunned. So what do I do about that? Well, I guess we can just tank the stuns. If we have a Chinook, then we can blow back Bloons for as long as we can, I would think. Well, not quite, because there is a BFB we have to worry about. I guess I could Chinook him last minute, but then I don't have any damage. So that's just gonna make Vortex move. I guess what I'll try to do is... Okay, don't let that mob leak come on. Oh, crap, crap, crap. Okay, it popped. That's good. We can tank a stun then. Let's not bother with range in that case. It seems like it's literally worthless. But yeah, my concern is what do I do against Moabs, especially slipstreamed? I can't afford, I don't think I Condor. I have to wait for him to get unstunned. Anytime now, it's getting the last bend. GG. GG, wait. Wait. Pat just declared he's back, and we're back to damaging. But this is really bad if we keep getting stunned. I don't know how to survive every single time there's downtime. Now, the good thing is that the burn damage, I think Chinook applies burn DOT. So that helps us. And you know what? Let's just try to survive this here. I'm moving him away. Maybe we can just let the burn damage, even though it's only 25 damage, just tick away to each skull. This is the saddest way to damage Vortex ever, but really, 25 damage at a time is never going to get me anywhere. How long am I going to have to wait? Luckily, I have 5 lives, so I'm just going to use this as a test run. I'm waiting for the damage over time, finally. I think that's way too slow. A Condor is also $11,000, which I'm actually really close to. Let's try to hold out hope then. I feel like trying to not stun is really annoying, so you know what? Let's just take the stun here. Take the stun. Uh-oh, that's bad news. The BFB is exiting, but thankfully... Wow, we got really lucky with the Pat stun that it didn't stun. Alright, Condor has been afforded. We can move back stuff now, but the bad news is it's gonna get stunned over here, so... this is probably not good. 30% damage. Yeah, that was a dumbass Condor spot. You don't want it on top of Pat. Now I got nothing here. Let's see how good Chinook's blowback is, though. I mean, it has a lot of attack speed, so... Oh, the lead balloons. GG. GG no re. Okay. We can always go back in time 1 round. Just 1. Let's wait for Vortex to be far enough away from Pat Fusty, okay? Or the Condor. Do we think this part doesn't... Like, we're just gonna let Pat stun. That's fine. Let it hit the skull like that. Okay, how does Condor still do that? I don't know. Whatever, this is a better stun timing, though. Even if the BFB goes a very, very, very long way. This seems like a long enough time to not be stunned. Good. 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 Alright, gonna hit a stun here, but Condor clutch, right? Yep. Chinook attack speed clutch with the blowback. Condor clutch, too. There's a lot of balloons, though, so not gonna lie, very scary. 1 more stun here. Let's see. I think I ought to pick a monkey that does utility here, or a glue trap. You know what? Glue trap. Screw it. We're almost at the finish line. Damage is not a problem anymore. 1 more pad ability. Holy crap. 1 more attack speed bonus, and this should do it. Of the several heroes I've done, I'm not gonna lie, this might be one of my most favorite. 1, because I didn't mention, but, like, the lack of lag is awesome. The fact that Pat has no projectiles to cause any lag in the first place. But just turning him into a slap-fighting king, going for range buffs, which I literally never go for, is awesome, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, and once again, if you want to see more that you may have missed, then click over here for more videos. It is a hell of a lot of fun, and we'll extract that Zig then Zeg.